Look, we're having a few issues here with the live. Hold on. Looks like our internet's resetting. Oh, trying to make it a little closer, but not too close. So I just have the pictures, the ornaments in the picture. I'm a few minutes early because I just didn't want to go on at the last minute here. So we will wait for everyone to get on. See if we're in our group here. And we're in the group on the tablet. Looks like we got a few of you on with us already, so we'll hold tight for the rest. So we are in the middle of July already. Who can believe that? So we have our Christmas in July. It's a very Merry Christmas, and we are going to unbox our box tonight. Just getting set up here. These are the ornaments that were in the box. So hopefully, I was going to check to see if everyone got their boxes. When I looked this morning, there was only a couple of you that needed to get them yet. A couple were out for delivery. So I don't know if the other ones made it out for delivery or not today. So it looks like we got Mona and Linda. So welcome you guys. Again, it's July 14th. A minute before 7 here. So hope everyone had a good 4th of July. That was the week before already, I guess. Weeks are just flying by. So it looks like we got 6 on here watching now. So we do have our Christmas in July box which is It's a Very Merry Christmas, and it's 7 o'clock. So I guess we will get started. So these are the ornaments that were painted for the box. They all have the same background with the holly leaf. So we will put those aside. And the minute I start talking, I have a little cat in here. And let me grab our box. So here is our box. And we will open it up. And hopefully we didn't lose internet because the screen's not changing, but the phone looks okay. So we will open it up. So we had our nice little sticker on the top, which says It's a Very Merry Christmas in July. And then we have our sticker on the inside, which says the decision to feel good is the best decision you can make, by Abraham Hicks. And then we open it up. And right on top is usually your instructions and your brush packet. And then we always got a bunch of paper so stuff don't get broke. And we have a goodie packet in there. And I'm going to have to go out of the tablet here because it's not updating the picture. I don't know what it's doing. And then we have our ornaments all wrapped up pretty inside. So some of you probably had extra stuff as well. A lot of you did, actually. So let me see what this tablet's doing here, because the picture on the tablet is from way back here. Come on, here, update. Well, I guess as long as I can see you guys' comments, but I can't see what's on the screen here. Swipe left to do comments. This tablet always just gives me grief. Oh, there it goes. Alright, now we're finally got the picture. Okay, so this was your ornaments. We had the bears and the mooses. 3 bears. And 3 moose. So we will open them up quick. And hopefully everyone's stuff arrived safe and sound. So far, so good, I believe. course, Janet's box looked like it got ran over by a truck or a wagon or something, but luckily all her goodies were intact. I did spend a lot of extra time wrapping all that big stuff with the bubble wrap and then the cardboard and bubble wrap and papers, and so hopefully the last couple get there on time, or not broken I should say. Let's get our comments back. So we got Gail joining us and Marianne and Jackie, and I'm just ripping open our little ornaments here. I did post the start of the August album, and it's titled August Album, and there are the rest of the Clay Magic V stuff is in there for August, and then you can also shop the July and the Native and the Dragon one yet with the $9.99 shipping. The big Bumblebee gnome, the Buzz gnome, he will have the $9.99 shipping as well, just because he's a good sized guy. Alright, so we got our bears out, and we got our mooses out. You also had a nice little goodie bag as usual. Let's see if we can get our comments back. So we got Bertha now too, and Denise, so Marianne, welcome you guys. So in our goodie bag, we have glitter. You have a nice little package of glitter that we'll be using. And then we handmade the leaves, your holly leaves, and then you have the strings as well. So I can, in case anyone's going to work ahead, I can show you what to do with those quick. There are two different sets of holly leaves. One's a little bit bigger than the other one. If you got a second box, I tried to make sure you got the same size. So with your string, you'll just want to take it and tie a knot in it. So I actually had some little silver pewter charms, and they didn't look good. And then I ordered jingle bells, and those didn't look good either. So we ended up with this more rustic looking leaves to go with it. So once you have a knot tied in there, after your ornament is done, just put some glue on the back and then put it over your hole. And then you can put some glue on the back of your hollies, and then just put that right over the top of that. And so then that's more of a little more rustic look to it than the silver shiny stuff. So that's how those will look. It looks like I cut myself here today already. So that's how the strings will work. If you don't want to do the twine, you can fish the wire through and then pull the string through, and put some glue on it and pull it through, and you can use just the string if you'd prefer to do that. But we went with the holly leaves just because it added a nice touch to the ornaments. And then if you did get extra ornaments, I did throw in the leaves and the strings, so I figured you probably wanted them to match. But that was actually extra part of a budget for the box, so that was actually an extra little thing for you guys that got the extra ornaments. And then we have our instruction bundle. And usually if you have extra brushes, they're in here too. The box brush is our nice big flat brush this time, size 12. And then we have our instructions, and then we have our content sheet with the list of colors, what molds they were, and any extras that you need. So now there was a big announcement by Mako yesterday that they will no longer be carrying the aerosol sealer. Once they have what they have is gone, it's gone. Apparently there's a problem with Sherwin-Williams and getting it. So some people do use Krylon that you can buy like at Walmart. I don't know what Mako's going to do to if they're going to say use Krylon or what the deal is, but they had a newsletter that came out that said that the aerosol sealers are done once they're all out of stock. So just to let you guys, give you guys a heads up. So we do have our instructions with our paint list, and then our paint list is also on there. You don't have to use the colors I use. As always, you know, feel free to use whatever you want to use. So we have our pieces, and number 1 is to base coat all ornaments black. And since we do have quite a few new people, we're going to go ahead and do our base coating. So we're just using the acrylic paints. We're using Duncan. So we have our Duncan OS 476 black. Duncan OS 476 black. So do any of you guys already use the Krylon satin or gloss sealer at all? I mean, I've probably used it on other projects, but not on the ceramic stuff. So there is the brush-on sealer, so I'll probably stock up on that. So now we do have our nylon painting brush, and for base coating, this is a nice big brush for base coating. So I do want to dip it into my water first, because that will help condition those bristles and keep and then I like to pat it, just pat the excess water out on the paper towel. But that's going to keep the paint from getting up inside the middle of your brush and drying in there and making it hard to get out. So let's see if we got any comments going on. So it looks like Linda must use the Krylon. I mean, I've used it for like wood crafts and things, so I don't know what else is out there. We'll have to take a look around and see what else is out there. I do have a little bit of a stock at the classroom that we'll probably use just for classroom projects. So I'm just dipping in my black paint, brushing back and forth to brush it out so we have a nice smooth finish. And then we're just going to want to get all our little white spots. You wouldn't have to do these in the black, like the black brown would probably work too. Just a nice dark color. Denise says she actually likes the brush on stuff, so okay. Let me see. Bertha uses Mod Podge. So there's different things out there, I guess, that everybody uses. So I was always a Duncan aerosol sealer person, usually for the most part. But we'll see what we can do. And I don't know if Sherwin-Williams, apparently Sherwin-Williams is who bottled or processed that for them, and they're not doing any private label stuff anymore. That's from my contact person at Mako, because I did message him yesterday when I seen that. So I don't know if like Sherwin-Williams has a brand of aerosol sealer or what. I haven't. We have a Sherwin-Williams store here, but I haven't been in it. But that's just a heads up on the aerosol sealers. So we lost the porcelain, and now we're losing the rest of it. So there isn't much we can do about it. It's just the way things are today in this world. They are also, there was a couple other things in that newsletter too. One of them is that they will no longer be making the plaster molds. There's it's a ceramic shop. Their masters are going to that place. I don't know the specifics on that yet either, other than it was in the newsletter that they made a decision not to make new molds anymore. So I don't know if they'll be that other place is going to like make their new ones, or if there's just going to be no more designing of new Mako molds. I'm guessing there's just going to be no new Mako molds anymore, unfortunately, from what I got out of the newsletter. So there's always something. What are fashion hues? Fashion hues is just another type of paint. You paint a little different with it. There's usually 2 different whites that you base coat your piece with, and then you brush it on, and then you actually wipe it off with a cloth. And I'm not sure what they use for a sealer either. I don't know if they have their own brand of sealer. They remind me a lot of the previous. They're not the same as the translucents, but they remind me of the translucents from years ago. I will have a lady coming to the classroom next August after the the weekend after the Waukesha show, so I don't know what the date of the Waukesha show will be next year. But the weekend after that, she is a teacher that was with the original Fashion Hues owners. She's a certified teacher. It's Sherry Porter that's with the brushes. So we're pretty fortunate to be able to have her to come. I will be able to talk to her at the show in August to get more specifics down of what the pieces are. I know what one of the pieces is going to be, and it's a gingerbread house stack with gingerbread men on it. It's probably 15 or 16 inches tall. It's a Delta mold. I have that mold, and I asked her if that could be one of the pieces. It'll probably be like a 3-day, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday retreat type of thing at the classroom. So we'll have to see after the August show when I talk to her, get the specifics worked out. So I'd have my whole piece black here, and wherever I'm touching it with my wet fingers, it's coming back off. So I'm actually going to stick him over my wood dowel here and let him dry. That was from your drying rack that you guys got, I think in May or June. Let me see, the microphone is going in and out. I think there's problems with the internet here today, because it keeps saying that it's reconnecting, so hopefully it works itself out. It doesn't look like we're going to have a storm or anything, so I'm not sure what the problem is. So hopefully it will be better. I'll try to talk louder and keep my head towards the microphone. So we're just base coating our piece, where I'm using our nylon brush that was in our box, actually, in our July box. Let's see. And so we're just getting everything nice and black here. You could use black brown as well if you wanted. So I need some more black. And then they had some colors that they're discontinuing and stuff as well. And then they're adding to the Easy Strokes line. I think they're adding 6 colors to that, which is, it's a fired product. You'd use it on, you can use it on greenware or on bisque for like detail painting. And it works for, excuse me, it works for airbrushing really nice as well. There's a couple Dunkin' things that they're going to be discontinuing. If a certain color of a glaze isn't in the Mako line, they're going to carry it or like convert it over to the Mako. Say like there's a certain shade of orange. If it's not in the Mako line, but it's in the Dunkin' line that they're discontinuing it, they will keep it in the, they'll like convert it over to a Mako product. So there was quite a bit of news in the newsletter. I mean, I think they're just struggling as well. Just like everybody else seems to be struggling here yet with COVID and all that stuff. So I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, I tried to order all I need is a yard of gravel to finish off my gravel where the driveway got extended wider, and they won't deliver just a yard of gravel either. So there's just a lot going on in our world today, so we just got to be patient and figure out different ways to do things, or different products to use that we're probably used to. But we'll keep plugging away at it, and we'll get it figured out. We can always use the brush-on sealers. Hopefully they get those stocked up, and I'll try to get stock on those too. I'm hoping that they actually get them in a larger quantity, because if we're going to be using it on everything, it's going to take larger quantities than just a little 2-ounce bottle. But in the meantime, we're just dry brushing, or we're base coating our pieces with black here, kind of going in every direction so we can get all the little white spots, the fleas we call them here. And we'll get those all covered up. So in the August album, I did post the rest of the Clay Magic bee stuff that we have. And then I was also, I don't know if anyone noticed the molds that we got this weekend. I was also able to get the other ants that go with the June box, and the ladybug and the gentibug. So I think there's 3 ants and then the gentbug and the ladybug. So I will get those poured tomorrow, and then I'll get the prices and get those posted in the album too. They will be in greenware, just so you guys can get the pictures so you can shop. But we did get those as well on Sunday. So that was kind of nice. We can add those. You can add those to your little ant collection. And if you will need any of the copper wire looking antennas, I'll post that you can add those to your order too. Because I made those, so we'll be able to make more of those. So hopefully you guys will like that. The ants are really cute. It's Nick Ant, Pick Ant, Teeny Ant. I'm not sure what the ladybug's name is. It's the gent bug, so it's the boy. I think there was like 6 of them, so I got them in the car yet. I have to unload them. So I'll get those guys poured tomorrow. So those will be fun pieces for you guys to add to your ants that you already have. You'll have a whole colony of them. Let's see what else we got. Actually, most of the molds that we got on Sunday are all bigger molds, lots of bigger molds. But we did get like 6 new eagles, the snowy owl, a couple bird bass, some really nice stuff. So, and I believe we're going back to get one more load yet. So yesterday I did have to work in the storage unit and move that load plus the load that we got earlier on Memorial Day. I had to get those moved out of the way because I have clay, and then your box molds should be coming shortly here from Evans for the rest of the year through February. And then my 2 or 3 pallets of clay. I'll have to see how much shipping freight's going to be, because freight's gone up a lot too. So I had to make room for that stuff. So yesterday I spent it in the storage unit moving molds, which is always fun because you come across stuff that you forget that you pulled when you were shopping. So we do have one more load already pulled at one of the places that we've been cherry picking at. And then we'll have one more load of the big stuff from the place we were at on Sunday. And then we're really going to be to our maximum. But we're just not dry brushing, we are base coating. So this is called base coating or painting it out. Some people call it different, but it's all the same thing. So we'll probably do color washing in one of our next ones, because we haven't done that in a while, and with our new people we'll want to introduce that again. I actually like base coating a little bit better than color washing, just because it's not as messy. And color washing is just it was a product that we used to be able to buy and can no longer buy either. And so we make our own color wash, and it's just 50% paint, 50% water, mix it up. You can put it in a little baby food jar and label it. It doesn't go bad. Just keep it closed. And you could just keep adding to it and making your own batch. And you can do it in different colors, whatever color you want. And then you brush it on your piece, and then you wipe it off with a sponge. It's kind of like how we used to antique after a piece was painted, but we kind of do it before. And it just puts the color down in the crevices, and then you wipe it off on the high areas. It kind of saves a little bit on dry brushing, but it's actually it's messy, so I kind of prefer the base coating. So even these guys, you could color wash them if you preferred, over base coating them or painting them out. It's really preference. Like, there's tons of ways to do ceramic stuff. Can't really say there's a right or a wrong way, long as it turns out for you. Make sure I'm in the screen here. So now I just flipped this guy over, and it dried, and I have white spots. So you want to go back and get those white spots, because if you dry brush over them and let them as white spots, they're going to be very obvious, and we don't want that. We want to have all our white spots gone. And then I do go into my hole, especially if I want to get the paint in there. If I'm decide not to put the knot over the hole and put the string in it, you don't want to see white around your string. So I just dab in that hole a little bit always. So this actually goes pretty fast. I'm just going to go back and touch this guy up where I was holding him. The paint came off. So we do have the show in Waukesha coming up, which is about 4.5 hours from me. And I'll be going to that on Friday. And I'm going to take Paula McCoy's class on Friday afternoon with her butterfly painting. So if any of you guys are local people, you can look for me. I'll have this bright blue shirt on with Brenda's Brush Strokes and Bisque and bright pink on the back. So you have to stop and say hi. I know last year I ran into a few of you, so that's great. Maybe there'll be a few more with COVID. The restrictions not as bad as they were last year, but we actually have a lot of COVID kind of going on here again, so I don't know if everyone has that or not. But I'm just base coating our little ornaments here quick, and that just means I'm putting a layer of paint on my whole piece. I'm brushing it out. I'm not letting puddles anywhere, because if I leave puddles and it dries as a puddle, when I dry brush it, the dry brushing is going to catch on there, and it'll be very obvious that it was a puddle. So we don't want puddles. We actually want to brush it out. And then the paint has some self-leveling stuff in it, so it does level out. So you kind of don't have brush marks if you do brush, as long as you brush it out fairly level and smoothly. So do you guys like the ornaments for Christmas in July, or next year would you like something else, a different type of Christmas piece? I know we did ornaments last year, and not sure if you guys would want ornaments again next year, or if you want something else. So you have to guys maybe do some comments of if you'd like ornaments again next year, because believe it or not, it's like time to start shopping for that stuff and get the molds ordered so that we have them in time and all that good stuff. So what kind of pieces would you guys like for Christmas in July next year? Do you want ornaments again or something else? So I'm just flipping him over and getting his back. I mean, there's tons of stuff out there, so it don't have to be ornaments, but like there's just tons of stuff, from Christmas penguins to snowmen to Christmassy snowmen to angels to Santas to reindeer. And I try to pick a variety usually of different things, but it was just kind of fun to do the ornaments. I kind of liked these guys a lot last year when I picked out last year's, and but I'm not the only one that has to like them. You guys have to like them. I'm just coming back and getting any little white spots I see on this guy too. Flipping him back and forth. Let me see, so Lena likes ornaments. Gail says something else. Carrie likes ornaments. Christmas penguins. So I always read the comments later, because it's kind of hard to catch them all when I'm painting and trying to watch what I'm doing here. But I'll see what you guys are kind of interested in. We do have a Christmas tree coming for your November box. I'll be picking those molds up at the show. It's going to be the Noel's holly tree, the holly Christmas tree. Some of you have probably seen pictures of that posted lately. After I decided I was putting it in the box, it like popped up all over the place. We were going to use chalk on it. So hopefully, if you don't have chalk and you don't want to chalk it, that's okay. You can just dry brush it, or if you have access to a kiln, you can glaze it. You guys can do whatever makes you happy. But I will show chalking on that holly tree, and that will be in November. And then the bee skip and the bee and the daisy is the August box, and I posted that picture. They're not painted yet, because today when I was at the classroom, I only had one person stop out, but I we're adding another bisque room. So we got shelves in there on Tuesday and some bisque, and now I worked on pulling all the greenware off these shelves to make room just for bisque, because everyone pretty much just wants bisque these days. So I actually have a whole carload of greenware to clean. And then I got some of the bisque on the shelves. We're going to have actually a whole wall of native stuff in there, wildlife in there. The Kinsey rocks and vases will be in there, and the jugs will be in there. And then like just wildlife like wolves and fox, and probably not the domestic animals, but just more of the wildlife stuff. So we actually added 9 shelves, so that's quite a bit of shelving that went in that little bedroom, but it's got the center's open, so it seems like it'll work pretty good. So I'll post pictures and put that in the classroom stuff. So I didn't paint on the beast today because I worked on that way. I kind of have to get that mess cleaned up because we got it started now, and it's kind of nice to do it when it's slow before we get busy here with September and October, and then Christmas rolls around, and we're like halfway there already because it's already June 14th. The year's like half gone. It's unbelievable how fast it's going. Let's see what we got for comments here. So we got Christmas trees, snowmen, ornaments, all kinds of stuff. We do have a wildlife coming for, I gotta think, it's a bear and a cub. I think it's for January we're doing that. Kind of forgot what the other ones were. I'll have to make a list of them so I can tell you guys always. Oh, and then those hummingbird container and vase. We could possibly do that with chalk too. I guess we'll have to see. We'll use that fixative spray on there instead of the, so we can't get the porcelain spray anymore that they used to use. There's a fixative. I probably took it back to the classroom. And you can buy that just right at Hobby Lobby. It's just an aerosol spray with a little bit of grit in it so that the soft pastels, that's what they call the chalks today, is the soft pastels. So that's what we'll be using. Or you can use if you got the Royal and Langnickel pastels, when we had those in the box, you could use those too. Alright, so we got that one looking all good. Well, nope, I see fleas on there. We gotta get those fleas. Those good old white spots, they just pop up. And we're gonna get some more black for our last one. See what else is going on. Oh, I took that glass fusing class on Monday, which there was only 6 of us, but all 6 pieces looked completely different. Mine I kind of did with the garden stuff with the bee. One of the other ladies did like a beach scene with seagulls, little birds in the sky, and then little turtles, little pieces of glass that made the turtles. So you kind of pile that all on your glass, and you use hairspray and glue to keep it set until it gets fired, and then she has to fire that in the kiln, and it fuses it together. So I'll have to go back and get it at some point once it's ready. So I'll show you guys the picture of that. Let's see what else is going on. Just mixing slip, pouring molds, kind of the usual. Worked in the storage unit, like I said, making room for clay and the ingredients for the slip, because then we'll have enough to get us through to December, so we'll get some before it's really cold out again. Been pouring extras for the, I have to see which box it is, the October box. So we'll make sure that we have enough of everything for you guys if anybody wants stuff. add on. And I actually need to, I have the September, half of the molds are in the garage, but I haven't had time to open them and pour them. But I actually need to get the other half home and get those poured. Those are the Clay Magic kernel corn candies, so they look like the candy corn with the faces on. That will be your September box. So they should be a lot of fun. And then I did get the extras, the other ones that go with them, so we can have extras in the album. And those will just dry brush too. So we do most, for the most part, non-fired techniques in the group here, because it was created for people that don't have access to a kiln mostly. But your greenware is fired to cone 04, so if you want to use glazes on your pieces or the stroking coats or any of that stuff, you can. Don't feel like you have to use the acrylics. You can use they can be fired with the glazes and the stroking coats on them without problem. Okay, we got that one done. So now I'm actually going to go back and look at everybody and make sure we don't have any fleas. Let's see. Love the kernel corns. Yeah, they're really cute. I did, I think, a set for the craft shows a few years ago when I was doing craft shows, so I thought, well, they're nice. They're just a nice fall thing, not necessarily a Halloween thing, because I know some of you don't like Halloween stuff, so I thought they were just more fallish. So I do go in my hole on the back here where the pour hole is, just so that it looks nice. So if it's spinning around on your tree, or if you're using it for like a gift tag, it just looks nice in there if someone happens to see that, like you don't want to have that big white glob there then. So I do kind of go just in that hole a little bit just to make it look nice. So yeah, I think the kernel corn is really cute just because it's just, you think of fall when you see that stuff, and not necessarily Halloween. So hopefully that'll work for everybody. And then our next one is the October one is a vase, or a candle vase with a, it could be a vase or the candle with the tea light. You guys will be getting the tea light cup with it, with the scarecrow on it from Dona's. And then I will have the other two that you can purchase as extras as well. And then the little scarecrow that's on there, I kind of have him in a standing by himself piece, so that's what I've been pouring extra to get enough of those for you guys. But right now I'm just touching up any white spots that I see on here, just because we don't want those, because they're going to stick out like sore thumbs once we get to dry brushing. So like here's one right here. It just seems like once they dry, they just kind of pop back up. So you usually have to touch up your stuff a couple of times. If something has a ton of texture in it, you might have to do it more than once or twice even. Kind of depends upon your pieces. These aren't too bad. They just need a little bit of touching up. You can see it just kind of pops up here and there. So you want to look at your piece from different angles, so you can see those little white spots down in those little crevices. You don't want to just look at it straight on. You want to turn it at the different angles so you can see down in all the different little areas. So here we have some on the back here. And sometimes you have to like actually dab them and not paint on them. Like painting back and forth isn't going to get it. So like I actually have to dab down in that little crevice to get that down in there so it covers it. Whoop. And you want to hold on to it so you don't lose it. So let's see. I still don't have blacktop in the road yet, but I do have the driveway. I got that situated I think it was last Saturday when I worked on that, when it was a little bit cooler out. So I can actually back into my driveway and load the car up with bisque for the classroom, and you can go to the storage unit and get the clay and back into the up to the garage to unload it so I don't have to carry it. So that's really nice. Alright, so I think we have all our little white spots done. So now we're actually done with this brush. So for me, for cleaning the brushes, I like the Harold's brush pad, which is this little blue pad down in my water. It's just a little rubbery pad. And I'm just going to brush back and forth across there. And I'm not beating down on it, I'm just gently rubbing back and forth. And you can see that that's getting all that black out of my brush. And it gets it out right up to here. And you can also like take and massage your finger on there to help get some of it out, because you don't want that paint to build up in there. You want to get that all out. So then I'll put that aside. Then I like to take it and pat it dry on my paper. So I can see I got a little bit of black up at the top yet, so I'm going to brush in there another time and then come back and pat it again, and it's looking pretty good. Do it a couple more times. So that's how I clean my brushes. I brush back and forth on there, pat it on here, and once that water is clean on the paper and not full of paint, then I know my brush is ready. And look at my hands. And then I like to like comb them or into their nice little point. And now I'm just going to lay it aside and lay it down flat. And I got more paint on my fingers than I got on the ornaments. Okay. So now we are going to go to number 2. We are going to dry brush the center triangles of the fronts and the backs with gray and then white. So our little ornaments have this nice little triangle inside the wood, and that's what I'm referring to with that. So we have this nice little triangle, and so this is the area that we are going to dry brush with gray and then with white. Okay. So I need to find my gray. I didn't have my paint list to dig everybody out. So we have our gray, OS474, gray, OS474. And you want to give that a good shake. Like this has been sitting here all week. I haven't painted with it. And it looks like it's dried up on top on me a little bit. And I tipped over my whole other set of brushes, but here's the ball stylus, so that will work to unplug it. Okay, so we just have our gray. Now it's going to be a really tiny little area, so we don't want like a big old size 10. That's too big. We want something smaller. Let's see, I'm probably going to go with this. What are we going to grab with here? So I have this nice size, what are we? A size 1. So it's just a nice little brush, so I can use it on its edge or on its wide part, just because we have such a little area. So this is a boar bristle brush. It's the Royal Majestic acrylic handle. They also come with the turquoise handle, and that's just the wood handle. But they have the same Chung King bristles in them, which is a boar bristle that's good for dry brushing. Supposed to be the best bristle out there right now for dry brushing. Then I have a piece of paper towel. I have my paint. Let me make sure we got it in the screen here. So now I'm just going to get a little bit of the gray, and I'm going to brush it out. And when I start with a new color, so I'm going to do that a few times. That way I'm working it up into my bristles. And then I like to start on the back. So now I've been bouncing this around here, and I rub that off, but we can touch that up later. So now I want to brush back and forth in this little background area, and I can turn it on its edge on the little skinny area between the berries, and now I can come wide where the leaves are here. And it's okay if you get it on the leaves, because the leaf color will cover that up. And I'm just brushing back and forth pretty gently. And you can see you can go pretty far once you brush that out on the paper towel. Now I can turn it on its edge instead of on that wide part to get in that little crevice there and around the little leaf over here, and then down to my point. So I'm just brushing back and forth, turning it on its edge down in those peaks so I can get down in there. Grab a little paint, brush it out. I'm gonna get right down in my corners. So you can see it kind of takes a small brush for this. That way you're not getting paint all over the rest of your ornament, like on the leaves and on the branches that are there. And I just start at one point and just keep working my way around a few times. I don't just stay in one part and finish it completely. I do a little bit here, come over here, a little bit here, and just keep going around and around. And that way this paint is drying in the other areas while I'm working in a different area. So that when I come back around, it just takes the paint better. And that helps so you don't get hot spots too by just staying in one point or one place and just putting too much paint and getting it kind of wet, and then it kind of like makes a little hot spot. So you can see that built up pretty quick. So we'll actually flip it over now. So all of these have that little triangle. Like there's just a little area here, so I'm going to put my brush on its edge and kind of brush down in there. It's okay if we get it on our bear. We can always touch the bear up. And then I'm just doing each little triangle area. I wanted to make that separate from the wood. I didn't want to have it the same color as the wood, so I kind of made it like a background, like it's snow, like the sky or the snow in the background. Okay, so he looks pretty good. He's got a nice layer on, so we'll lay him down and go to the next one. So we can check comments here. And we'll just get a little bit of gray again, brush it out. I like to start on the back just in case I have too much paint in my brush, so I'm not wrecking my piece on the front. So I'm just brushing back and forth in the little triangle part around the leaves and inside that branch. So will you guys use these for ornaments, or will you use them for like little gifts for teachers or mailman, or like gift tags? You could use them on gift tags on ornaments, or will you guys be using them for ornaments? And they're kind of just handy little things, even though they are ornaments, to use as other things. Okay, so we got a nice layer on the back of this one, so we'll flip it over. So now we got a little bit up here for this guy, a little bit down here, and that little bit here I probably wouldn't even try to get in there just because it's so tiny. We'll get in between the horns here. Janet says they're for the grandkids. Well, that's great. That's a good idea. Wonder if you could even put the year or something on maybe on the leaves or something. Let's see what else we got. Denise says she gifted hers from last year. Yeah, so that's good. And then we got a little bit down here by his little hooves. So each one is different as far as the little white part. That's just too tiny to try to get into, so we'll just do these two main areas on the sleeping moose. And we'll put him down. So now this bear's he's got a little bit bigger of a hole here. We can try to put it in there, but then we'll put it up over here. But I'll start on the back. I kind of like starting on the back. And I'm brushing real light just because it's a nice little area. You don't have to go real heavy on it. You see, Jackie's using hers for ornaments. What does it say by Christmas? This, oh, they have Christmas dishes have holly on them. Well, that's perfect. They'll match it then. Because you could even use the back side instead of the animal side. You could hang them so that the holly's facing out. We're just going around our little holly leaves here, up into the stem. So this is that size 1 brush that works really good. It's just a nice little brush. You don't want to use a big brush because then you'll have it all over your little holly leaves. So now we're going to do our bear, above our bear. There's nice texture, so it goes on pretty easy. And then we got our little side over here. And we can put a little in there and see if it stays or not. Once we get to dry brushing, we might lose it, but we'll put a little bit in there. And then his belly comes all the way down there, so we won't worry about that. So we'll put him aside. Brush it out. We'll do our holly on the back here, or our triangle on the back. Fill it in with dry brushing. And dry brushing is just a way of painting with not much paint in your brush, because you grab a little bit and then you brush it out, and then you come to your piece and you brush across all the little crevices. This background is kind of just a rough little surface, so it kind of don't matter which way the crevices are going. Like on the leaves, you don't want to go with that crevice. You're going to want to go against it. So now this guy, he's only got a little bit up here, so we'll just get his little triangle up here. There's a little bit between this one arm here. We can try to get some down in there. We might end up losing it. It's okay if we get it on the bear, because that will get dry brushed later. And again, we'll go on to the back of our moose, this guy, and get the back. See what else is going on. What are you guys all up to? Are you just enjoying summer stuff? Or are you painting? I see Denise's family liked hers. Patty's kids and grandkids got them. Denise put them on gifts too. Yeah, I think they're really cute to put on gifts. A nice little remembrance. You could hang them on trees. You could hang them on garland. You could put them on a wreath. You could like put them on a wreath, make a Christmas wreath and put them on there. So now this little moose, he's got this little area here, but I think that's more of his belly right there, but he's got the background here and up here, so we'll get it in those two little areas. They'd be cute on just like a little Christmas tree in the bathroom or something, where you have kind of if you have like a woodsy bathroom, or a little woodsy, like a den, or you could just have a little tree and not a big tree. Okay, so we got that one with the layer on it. Now we'll go to our last one here. I'm kind of holding up high on the brush so you guys can just kind of see how I'm dry brushing that little area, because sometimes those little areas are intimidating for people. But you just need a littler brush. It's not a big deal. If the one was too big, you could go to a 0. And then I just move my piece around so I can get to those little areas. So you just see me flipping it around here and there, but that's just so I can get into all them little areas easier. And then you can see the different angles. There we go. So we got to do the front yet. I see some of my daylilies started to open up this week, so I'll probably take a couple pictures of those. So he's got a little bit down hole beneath his feet, but I'd probably leave that. That's probably like his belly too. He's got some on the side of here and on this side, so that's where we'll do his little triangle. It doesn't have much, but it really kind of peaks them up. And there's just a little hole up here. I'll put it in there, but we might lose it when we do the dry brushing the horns and stuff. Okay, so now I'll actually start back over and give them one more layer. So we're just going to use one more layer just to make it a little bit brighter, a little bit stronger. So you can see now these were drying, so you can tell the difference like right in that area already how just one more layer makes it that much brighter. And it goes on real nice just because it's been laying there drying while we worked on the other ones. And it's that way it's not smearing and getting a hot spot, like a wet spot. But just that one more layer brightened it right up. And then we'll get a little bit more and do our front side here. So I like doing things like this in batches. Like we're working on all 6 of them and not on one at a time. Because now like each one of these dried while we worked on the other one. Instead of working on that same one. And then we're using the same color paint on all of them, so it kind of saves paint too. So I usually like to batch stuff. So we could have probably left that out there too. That could be his belly, but it don't have to be. We'll see when we get to dry brushing what we do. That looks pretty good. We'll get a little bit on this guy. So now him I started on the front, but I usually do like to go on the back first. But I didn't add paint to my brush yet. I'm just using what's in there. And you can see there's plenty in there. When you have that nice texture, it just takes it right out off the bristles. And then I am getting it on those sticks, but that's not going to hurt anything. The darker color will cover that up. Get a little bit, brush it out. And then just lightly touch our little textures in the background there. You can see there's how much lighter that side is compared to this side, so that just letting that lay there and dry, like it just takes the paint really nice, like it just sticks right to it. And then we'll get the front. And we'll start with the bag again. So it probably seems like it takes a long time, but we're doing six of them, so even though we're taking a little longer, like we'll have them, they'll all be done kind of together. Oh, how did you guys do with your eye painting now after our little extra eye painting last week? How did that go? Did you guys have better success with your eyes after watching the eye painting last week, or not really, or did anybody go back and actually like rewatch it or not? I think we might have got this guy already, but we'll get him a little more. Okay, so I think we got them all, maybe. Nope, we got to get this one yet. Filling in here, dry brushing that background. So the reason I chose the background first is because that background is lower than our holly leaves and lower than our branches. So that's why I started with that, so that the holly, if we did the holly leaves first and then we went and did our background color would get all over our holly leaves. So that's why I started with that deeper part of the mold. Or that piece, it's like the deepest area. So that's why I started with the background. So hopefully that helps you guys too, of why I started with that. Let's see. Denise says she loved it. Watched it a few times. Marianne says she loved it. Well, that's good. It's always going to be there for you guys to watch. So you can always go back and watch it. Alrighty, now we're going to go to white, our OS 431. White, OS 431. My hand is itching. I hope that means I'm going to get rich. What is it? You're getting money, or you're gonna kiss a fool? One of the two, huh? So hopefully it's money. Alright, so I'm going to use my same gray brush because we're kind of in that same white family. If you wanted it pure white, you could switch to a brush that you use just white for, and I tend to do that too sometimes. Denise says she'll be watching it a lot. Well, that's good because it'll be nice and helpful then. So now we have white in our brush, and we're just going to go over our gray and just get it a little bit whiter. So it looks kind of more like snow. You can see that kind of makes just a little bit of a difference. Just kind of whitens it up, and then we have that nice shading with the gray in the background of it. We'll do our little areas here on the front. I have webpage training with Courtney next Wednesday, so I'll be learning how to get our webpage, brendasbrushstrokesandbisques.com, back up and going. And then hopefully learn how to create that class that we want to do with the mosaics. So we'll see how that goes, if I'm smart enough to learn all about that. Just take lots of notes step by step. That's all we can do, and learn how to create the stuff in the background so you guys can see it in the foreground. Alrighty, so we're just doing our white on our background here over the top of the gray. I'm just brushing really lightly using that same number 1 gray brush that we were using before, just because it's in the same family. If I was changing to a completely different color, I would have changed brush, but the white and the gray are kind of in the same family, so we're just going to stay with our same brush here. So they're looking pretty good. We're just going inside all of our little triangles, starting with those because they're the deeper or the lowest part of our piece, kind of like your underwear or the first piece you put on. This background here is kind of the first part to paint. And then our next part we'll just go from the lowest part, we'll work our way out. So hopefully that helps you guys when you're starting something. A lot of people don't know where to start, but that's how I determine where to start, like where my lowest area is. So like on these, this background is the lowest area. That way we don't do the high areas and then do the low areas and get the low area color all over the high area color. And that's not always the case, but usually that works pretty good. That little theory or that little process. So we're just getting our white on top of our gray here to kind of highlight it some more. And then after they're done and sealed, we'll actually put glitter in there too, just to give them a little, jazz them up a little bit more. So they're looking pretty good. Courtney says she's having bunny trouble, that they're eating everything off on her. She said she even poured, I think she said pine sol down in their hole. She said it worked last year, but it didn't work this year. So I told her she has to get some of that rabbit repellent spray that smells like urine. It stinks horrible, but it works. She said every time something's ready to bloom, they're munching it off on her. It's like, yeah, they do that here with my oriental lilies. They're ready to bloom, and then like maybe in the next 2 days, and you go out there and them darn rabbits chewed the buds right off, and then they don't even eat them, they just let them lay. That's what's really frustrating. So let me see. Kathleen says, can we order the sunflower you posted with the glass? Yeah, you probably can. I can take the mold back home and pour some more. It'd probably be limited to like 10 of them for August. So that was really simple. I just like finished dry brushed the piece, sealed it. Then I cut some glass up into little pieces. Like you could even, I think you could even buy like little pieces of glass like at Hobby Lobby. Then I sprinkled that on there, and then I had, it's called art resin. But there's all kinds of different brands of resin. It only took like a tablespoon of the resin and the hardener, and you mix it together, and then you pour it on top of there. And then you have to make sure it's sitting level, because the resin will want to run, and like there's a stem on the back, so I just put tissue paper on both sides of it so it wouldn't tip, and then left it dry overnight. And then painted the little dry brush, the little bee, and glued him on. Actually, where that little bee is, one of the branches, one of the flower petals got broke off. So I like to resurrect the misfits and do something special with them. So that was something that I wanted to try to do. So he got special treatment and got the glass and the resin in him. So that's how that guy. There's nothing to it. Like, just sprinkle it in there where you want it and pour the resin on top and make sure it's level so it can dry level. It doesn't all run to one end, and there you go. You got a nice, something really different. Something that nobody else is doing. So I'm just going back now with all my little pieces and adding just a little bit more white since they've dried, and just want to brighten it up just a little bit more. So I think I would, I'd like to try it with one of the poppies and put maybe black on the on the inside where all the little seeds are. Maybe a little bit finer. It's called frit, glass frit that you can buy. I actually make mine. I have a little, it's called a piston. I made a piston. It's two pieces of pipe with caps on it. And you put some glass in there, and then you smash it together, the two pipes together, and you can make your own little glass. And then you just sprinkle it where you want it and pour the resin in and make sure it's level. Let it dry, and you got a beautiful little piece. There are different brands of resin, so I use the art resin brand. I've just always had pretty good luck with that. It's right on Amazon. It's just ART and then resin, art resin. So let's see. So is that a very little dry brush you're using? It is. It's a size 1. It's a size 1. So it's pretty little, and it's a flat. So I like to turn it on its edge so I can use it that way, or I can use it this way. Let me move it in so hopefully you guys can see it. But this is just a size 1. It comes in there's a set of, I forget if there's 6 in that set or 5 in that set. And we do have just the flat sets. I'll have to post those in the album again, but they are in the July album too. So you can actually go and post on the July album if you want those. Yep, it's got a makeover. The little sunflower guy with the broke petal. Okay, so we're done with number 2. So now we have number 3 is to dry brush our wood centers on the fronts and then the backs with medium brown and then light brown. So now we are going to put our medium brown on these wood centers. So this is the bark on the outside. So we're going to do just this wood part right here first. So I have our medium brown, OS471 medium brown. And the same with the back. So we have our bark coming around. And then this is the branch. We want the branches darker too. So we're going to do like the wood part, the exposed center of the wood, the meat part of the wood. That's what we're going to do with the medium brown. So if we look at this finished guy, you can probably see better. This is the area we're going to focus on, this lighter area. And then we'll go to the darker area last. So we have our medium brown, OS471. Shake that up. And then I probably want another little brush again, because that's pretty little, but we could, well, let's see what I got in here. We'll just go to the round one just to show you that the round one works too. This is a round size 1. And let's get some more paper. So I just don't want a really huge brush for this little bitty area. Like, that's a pretty big brush and I'll have stuff everywhere. So if I fit this brush in here, this is a 1. You can see I have room around it, so hopefully that's going to work better. So I'm going to get my medium brown, kind of work it up in my bristles a couple times here. Then I brush it out so where there's nothing, big gobs coming out. And now we're going to brush across our the meat of the wood, or the center of the wood. Not the branches or the bark, but just the center here, and get a nice layer. So I just do one light layer. I don't go till it's finished. I do one light layer on all these little sections. And then we'll go to this little section. Grab some paint because not much is coming out. Come back and give that some more. And just go to this little section. I'm just brushing back and forth. So now I have one nice layer on all little sections of the back. So now we're going to go to the front. Grab a little, brush it out. Brush across each of these little sections. I'm going to be a little bit more careful here by his arm. And then I can do my bigger swipes underneath it. And then we have more room here so we can make bigger swipes, but we got just a little room here, so I just go in there kind of carefully. It's okay if you get it on the bear and on the other branches, those colors, when we get to those, it will cover it up, but we don't want to get carried away and get it completely covered with it. And I'm brushing fairly lightly, kind of holding up further on the brush so you guys can hopefully see better. So my big old hand isn't in the way. And then I'm going to come around one more time. And now I'm just going to set him down and go to the next one. And we'll work on each one that way. Grab a little bit and brush it out. So the backs are pretty easy because you don't have the animals in the way. You just have the little brush and you can just go back and forth in each little corner here. And you can turn it so you can get better access to each little corner if you have to. Like, don't be afraid to spin those pieces around and flip them upside down, and just make it so the brush is going where you want it to go. So now we got a nice layer on that guy. And now we'll flip to the front. So now we have a big area here, so I'll get that. And now we have more of a little area here. So each one is kind of different on the front where the wood is, but that's okay. We'll just lightly brush them. Just keep spinning it around. So he's got just a little bit here where his horns are. If your paint's going on wet and shiny looking, it's probably too wet in the brush. You want to brush it out some more. So this guy, I kind of want to get down in between those horns a little bit, so I'm actually sticking that brush down in there. So we want to get that background a little bit. So I actually want to get in between those horns, so if it gets on the horns, it's okay. Same with over here, I should probably try to get down in there a little bit more. And then we got in between his ear and a horn here. So I'm getting it on the bark, but that's okay. The bark color will cover that up. So he's got a nice layer. So I just keep lining them up so that I can just keep the oldest one. So when I get done with everybody, I know which one is the one that I want to grab. So now I'm got these white spots on this one. We'll touch those up. If you get those, you want to touch those up before we're working on those. It's okay because it isn't in the background, it's on the higher part. So that one was a little bit wet, it was a little bit shiny. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but you want it to go on more dry like that. And then I'm just brushing back and forth across it, getting up into those corners. And we need a little more medium brown. So I see we're supposed to have really hot weather next week. That's why I was working in the storage unit yesterday. So I think it's supposed to be cool tomorrow. I might go over there and do a few more moving of things yet. So we're gonna do our front now, and I'm just got to turn him around and turn him this way or that way so you can get in all them little corners. But this is a size 1 brush. It's the round instead of the flat, but you can see it works. It works too. Yep, they're coming to life, aren't they? It doesn't take much, and they come right to life. We'll just keep spinning them around, and we'll add a few more layers of this medium brown, but we'll get a layer on each one, and I'll just keep lining them up here so I know who's the oldest and who's the freshest. Brush pretty lightly. I would think these guys would be a good craft show seller, because a lot of people are into the wildlife and stuff, at least here where I live. So just get a layer in each little section, each little quadrant, flip it around, come to the front. Now the moose, we got his little horns, so we want to get in there. So you kind of got to push that brush down in there so you can get in you want to get color in between those horns. And if you're getting it on the horns, that's okay, because the horns will end up with a lighter color on them too. And just working our way around. Oh, we got this little spot underneath the antlers here. Don't forget that. And I thought I had to open molds tonight yet, but I actually went out in the garage and looked, and I opened them this morning, so I don't have to open them tonight. So I can maybe go to bed early. Alright, so that looks good. We'll put him up there. And we're just keep going and get each one with the brown on the center part of the wood. Like if you see a piece of wood and it has the bark is usually darker, and then the inside is usually lighter. Denise says wolves and horses. For add-on bisque, Denise, or what are you thinking? I don't know. I don't know about shipping horses with their skinny little legs. I think I'd tried dragons before I tried horses. Well, and actually we did. I do have wolves. And we have a couple of horses. We have that, the Scioto quarter horse. Oh, at craft shows. I get it now, Denise. At craft shows. Yep. Oh, yeah. People love horses and wolves. Yep. So this guy's got a little bit of the wood behind this antler, so we're just going to try to get down in there. We ended up getting on the branch, too, but that's okay, because we just want to get that color down in there. Another thing they like at craft show is usually cardinals, snowmen, and penguins. That stuff was always good sellers for me. And then anything you can personalize is good at craft shows too. Even if you take orders for like snowmen with the names. That big bundle up snowman with the name, last names cut out of his belly. He was like my super best seller. And then there's the penguin too, the big bundle up penguin, because anything you can personalize. People love stuff that can be personalized. So if you're thinking about doing craft shows, that's something, just stuff you can personalize. But for now, we're dry brushing our ornaments, getting our little wood, all our little wood areas here with our medium brown. angels that you could personalize that have in loving memory of on them. That was a good thing always. Bears, snowmen were always good here. Oh, and moose. Like the clay magic whittled moose, you can cut Home Sweet Home out of his belly. Just stuff you can personalize. People like stuff that's more personal. Okay, so we got all of them guys done. So now we are actually going to come back and give it another layer. So we will grab some more medium brown and brush it out. And we're just going to build up our background here. So I think we need some more. So this will take a couple layers yet to get that background built up. You can see we have a ways to go. So we'll keep going here. So do a few of you do craft shows, or do a lot of you guys do craft shows? That's what I used to do that when I worked. I did about only like 5 of them though in the fall, from like October through December, which was plenty with working, because it's a lot of work. You pack that stuff up and drag it there, and you sell it, and then you got to make a bunch more for the next one. You have to have enough. Always make sure you have enough change in your change. Little cash register. Little cash register change box. Let's see. Make sure your tables are covered with a nice cloth. Don't have a lot of like empty boxes and stuff in your little 10 by 10 area or whatever you have. Don't have it cluttered up with like junk, garbage. Empty boxes, like put that under the tables, or so that's covered up with the tablecloth, or take it out to your vehicle. Usually take like extra little supplies along with you, like scissors and tape and glue and price tags. Maybe if you got Christmas stuff with pin lights, have some extra pin lights along in case one gets broke or knocked out. Extra clip light, extra light bulb. You want to have pen and paper so you can, if you're taking orders, so you can take orders. Let's see what else. Set up ahead of time at home if you're not sure how you're going to set it up. If you haven't done that before, like that's a good thing. Just like do yourself a little dry run of how you're going to set your stuff up. Let's see what else. Make sure you, like when someone buys something, you want to wrap it in paper well or in bubble wrap or bubbles, so that they don't go to the next booth and drop it and then come back and want their money back because they broke it, because that does happen, believe me. I've had that happen. So make sure you like wrap their stuff up in paper or some kind of air bubbles. Alright, so we're just going to keep moving on to our next one here. I just keep starting with the back always, just because I don't want to get too much, but you can see that it's slowly getting lighter, so it's not a fast process. It's kind of slow, but that's what gives us all our shading. So we're just going to keep building up our medium brown on our wood part of our slice here. Take business cards with you if you got business cards. Talk to the people when they're in your booth. Like, don't just sit there and like be reading a book or not saying anything. Like talk to them. Ask, say hi. How's your day going? You enjoying shopping? Tell them your stuff is handmade. That you make it. You clean it. If you're cleaning it and firing it, tell them you clean it and you fire it. Like they enjoy hearing that. How much work and effort actually went into your piece, and like it's not something that you just ordered and bought from someplace and then you brought it there to sell it. Like tell them what you do with yours, how you paint your stuff and clean it and decorate it. Like they actually really enjoy hearing that part of it and knowing that you put all that time and effort into it and it is handmade. Kind of try display your things in different ways, because like that was one thing I didn't like. I can look look at something and think, oh, I can do that as a Christmas ornament, or I could do that as a gift tag, or I could put that in the shelf in the window for a window ornament. A lot of people don't have that type of imagination to think, oh, just when something's sitting on the table, all the different things you could use something for. So kind of display it in different ways so people can see different ways that maybe the same piece can be used. Because there's people out there that don't have that. Like if it isn't obvious, like they don't know that, oh, that could be an ornament hanging on a tree. So try to display your stuff really nice and in different ways. Don't just have it sitting on the table and looking like it's on a shelf in the store. And you can use cheap crates, or you can even take like boards and wrap burlap around them and put those on crates and have different heights and just make it interesting and draw them in if you're trying to do craft shows. I've done them for years. They're a lot of work. But they're a lot of fun too, because you meet a lot of interesting people and people that really like what you do. So let's see. Denise says she missed those days. Jackie says she donates a couple of pieces. That's good. Yeah, I usually try to donate some stuff too to different places and different stuff, fundraisers and stuff that are going on. And a lot of times they're actually those resurrected pieces, those misfits that I instead of throwing them out, like I come up with something to save them, and then they're still really nice pieces because they're just underneath. Nobody knows what was wrong with them because you've fixed it in a way, really. Like you guys probably didn't know that bee was sitting on a broken off petal of that sunflower, but yet I didn't have to throw him out and waste him because I made him into a cute little sample just by gluing him on over the top of that petal that was broke. But in the meantime here, we're just dry brushing our little slices and getting them lighter and lighter. You can see it takes quite a bit of work. We'll just keep dry brushing here away a little bit. Try to get down into those little tight corners. If you have to go to a smaller brush, go to a smaller brush. A flat brush would work really good for this too, but I have my flat brush with gray in it, so I'm using the round one. Because we have these nice little tight corners on each end of each of these, but I can get the round one in there, so that's okay. So did everybody shop the Prime Day stuff? Actually, Courtney messaged me last night and that there's a label printer for you guys as shipping labels that was on sale. So I'm actually getting that, so I don't have to waste tape and paper and toner on the printer anymore. It's called Rollo, and it's like a thermal heat label maker. So you guys' shipping labels won't come with all that tape taped on them anymore. They have sticky, they're like a label, and it prints the your addresses and the shipping information on it, and then it has a sticky back, so I'll just be able to peel it off and put it on your boxes. So that's going to be nice for me and for you guys. It's just a sticky type of label, and they actually only cost 4 cents a piece, so it's actually a lot more efficient to use that than to use the tape and the copy paper and the all the toner that the printer uses. So we'll be switching to the Rollo label maker. 'cause they had it on they had it $100 off on Prime, so it actually came today. Maybe Courtney will set me up when she comes next Wednesday. We're just working our medium brown around all our little wood areas here, going around the little antlers wherever we can, around the scarf here. Let's see. Well, Denise says, good evening, these are going to be fun to paint. Yeah, they are fun little pieces, so looks like we're right on 8:30 here, so I will probably finish up the brown on these guys, and then we're at a really good stopping point, and we can pick up with our next color next week, but I'll finish this here. Anybody have any questions? You guys doing okay with your painting? Anybody need help with anything? Good brushes are a great help if you're having problems with your dry brushing. You kind of want good brushes. You want the boar bristle brushes. They're the stiffer brushes. Some are really stiff and some are a soft stiff, but they are still a little stiffer than the nylon brushes. The nylon or the gold Taklon we use mainly for our base coating and our painting. So he's looking pretty good. And I think we just got this guy to do yet. So you guys can always message me if you're having a problem and send a picture as well. That's usually a great help. And I can usually walk you through it. And then I will get some more. I'll get those ants poured tomorrow and get those pictures in, but I'll be later in the day because the molds will have to set up and they'll have to dry before they can come out. So we have the ant and the ladybug and the gent bug. Those the Clay Magic bears that are dressed up as bees are really, really cute. So I've been pouring those for a while already. So I'll have quite a few sets of those. And then we'll get some stuff in the native one. I think I pulled another eagle. It's a smaller, it's still a good size eagle, but it's kind of a one-piece one. It doesn't have the wing added to it. I think I pulled 2 eagles actually. And I'll pull another dragon or 2, and then a couple more of the Kinsey rocks and vases. And maybe an angel. I think Wanda wanted an angel, so we'll pull another angel. We'll put those in the other albums too, and we'll do the $9.99 shipping for August again. So far so good as far as breakage, so hopefully that will be be good, and we can do the bigger stuff every once in a while for you guys. So these guys are looking pretty good. Let's get our bears and our mooses lined up. So we have a good start on them tonight. And let's see if we got any questions here quick. No, looks like we don't have any questions. So you guys can always message though if you have a question. And we'll work on these again next week. I'll probably be posting a couple pictures. I know one for the classroom because I had a gazing ball that I put 2 different glazes on it and then some white cascade. So I'll post that, and then once it's fired, that'll be in the farmhouse classroom group, and I think some of you guys belong to that too, so you'll see that as a fired piece. Otherwise, I don't think there's too much going on. Just getting all of your working on cleaning beehives. I got lots of beehives to get cleaned yet, beehives and bees, and then pouring the add-on stuff that you guys can add. So that will be my week, I'm sure. I don't think we're going to get molds at all. But otherwise, I would say have a great week, you guys. And enjoy the warm weather. And enjoy your boxes. And we will see you again next week. So have a great week, you guys. Enjoy the rest of July. We only got 2 weeks left. All right, good night. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining me.